Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So this clip has been going viral of, I do believe he's a therapist, and this is a clip of a podcast that he was speaking to feminists on, and he was just spitting facts. We're going to let him talk, and then we're going to comment.
You don't care about mandatory paternity tests. You don't care about paternity fraud. You don't care about male suicide rates. You don't care about equalizing hard, laborious jobs outside. You don't want to equalize that. You don't care about what happens to people that are falsely accused, which is almost always exclusively men. You don't actually care about the declining school performance, the rise in ADHD diagnosis, and the psychiatric medication that comes from it. You don't care about the lack of homeless shelters for men. You don't care about the weaponization of the family court, the equal custodial rights, reproductive safe for men, reduction in child support and alimony, pathologizing of just men and masculinity in general, negative attitudes towards even men that want a nuclear family. You don't think or care about any of these things. And I'm not even saying it's just the feminists that don't care about it.
Nobody
I'm
cares.
saying most people who don't do what I do don't care about this at all.
And they still don't care. Look at this comment.
No lies told, but I will disagree with him on one thing. It is just the feminists. It's just that feminists are a large majority. That's the thing here. Feminists are a large majority, not only women, but men. And the danger here of having male feminists is because male feminists don't see a reason to challenge those things by law. Getting together, coming up with a proposal, a bill, something that gets sent to the lawmakers of their state or getting sent through the federal legislation to get these laws on the books. That's one of the major problems of the male feminists. And I'm saying the male feminists because men are the ones who push back against their environment or they oppose their own environment. But if you convince the men that the environment in which they live that is detrimental to them is not really detrimental to them, they don't have an incentive to then oppose it. The women aren't going to do it. Even right-thinking women don't really have the capacity for that. They're going to need the men in any case, in all cases, to really push for it. Because the women can have empathy for it and really want to help do all of that. But the men who are suffering from it, the men who are impacted by it, they're the ones in reality that are going to have to oppose the environment because that is a masculine trait. That is a masculine trait. And the women who have their heads on straight will support that. Because I would definitely support it. Right? The stuff that he's talking about, the mandatory paternity, I wouldn't have a problem with that being on the books, specifically because of so much paternity fraud. And the reason why these things, the women are hollering about it, but it's the women that made it to where the men feel like this is something that they need. Because if women were not committing these high instances of paternity fraud And then you even have states on the books talking about if his name was on the birth certificate, he has to pay child support, even if the DNA proves that the child is not his. You got men paying child support for years for children that are not theirs. And then there's no restitution for that. Once it's found out, once a DNA test is performed, then there is no, that nobody pays him back. Nobody makes him whole after the deceit and the lies and basically the theft of his money. That's a theft. It's fraud. It's fraud, no matter which way you slice it. And they just want men to take it to such an extent where they're saying, well, even if that's not your child, you should still raise the child because that's you the only daddy they know. So, and ain't nobody doing that. Why would a man have to do that? That doesn't make him more honorable. That doesn't make that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all not going to give him no kudos for that. Y'all just want men to be silent so y'all can try to make a fool out of them. That's all that is. We lie to you. I'm going to have these babies that's not yours. And even if you find out, I don't want you to say nothing. I want you to keep on, keep on keeping on. I don't want you to even bring it up or act like you hurt or none of that. Just let me get away with the betrayal that I committed upon you. And let me get away with the fraud that I'm committing upon you. Let me get away with just lying to you for X amount of years, knowing full and well that this one kid or two kids or three kids or five kids that I done had ain't now one of them yours. Because I know I've been sliding around in these streets. And if it ever comes to light, I want the court behind me. I want the court to still make you pay child support. I want the court to still, you know what I'm saying? This is why the men are saying all of these things need to be put on the books. And I agree. Because the women have proven that y'all are not trustworthy enough for them to not be on the books. Y'all, when child support was brought about, women did not use that in the reasonable manner for which it was created. Y'all, as you do most things, took it way overboard, took it way to the hilt. And so now you've abused it. You've abused the favor that the courts have given you. You've abused the favor that the law have given. And so now, since you've abused all of those things, now the men are like, well, we're tired of being the brunt of that. We are tired of being, you know what I'm saying, the ones that gotta pay. We gotta pay financially. We gotta pay emotionally. We gotta pay psychologically. And we don't want to do that. Now you want to get mad at a person being taken advantage of that don't want to be taken advantage of no more. How you going to be mad at somebody that don't want to be taken advantage of? How you mad? It absolutely should be mandatory DNA. That way it's something that the state does and it's not even up for debate anyway between the two people. Whether you married or not, I don't even care if you're married or not. A lot of paternity fraud happened within the marriage. So DNA, we want to make sure that the babies that we having are actually our children. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe, and all of that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and do the blood test. And if you're not cheating, then you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. If you're not sliding around on that man, then there should be no question of the paternity. There should be no question of this is the man's baby. Because I've only been having sex with him. So it's physically impossible to be anybody else's baby. And we'll see who honest and who not. Because y'all get mad anytime these men have any question or doubt in their minds about whether or not a child that they've been raising or whatever is their own child, because they suspect you. And sometimes maybe they don't even suspect you. But because paternity fraud is so prevalent, they like, you know what? It's better to make sure. Better to ask forgiveness than ask permission. So let me go take this child. We can get a DNA test and it'll be what it'll be at the end of that. And if the child is his, then the child is his. And it is no more to be said about it. A lot of y'all don't want mandatory DNA tests because y'all be too busy cheating. That's the other part of the conversation that y'all don't want to have. Y'all cheat just as much as y'all say the men are cheating. Y'all cheat just as much, and then y'all bring these babies into the world and you pin them on the men, either your husband or you pin them on the man you with, and you know full well, or you either know it for a fact or you strongly suspect that this is probably not his baby, but he's the responsible person, or he's my husband, so I can't say nothing. Because to say something about that automatically mean I've been cheating on him. And ain't no man gonna take that. It's very few men take that one. And you know, I done seen some simps get mad over her. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I do what you want me to do long as you ain't messing around. But if I find you mess around, hey, you know. So you can't even always count on, oh, he loved me so much, he a simp, this, that, and the third. You can't even count on that. It'll make you honest. I tell you that much. It'll make a lot of y'all honest. Cause that DNA test not gonna lie. That's not gonna lie. He either the father or he not. And y'all want everything equal, like he said, except for equalizing hard, laborious jobs. Y'all don't want that to be equal. In truth, I don't want it to be equal either, because it's some stuff I'm not gonna do. First off, it's some stuff that physically I'm not even gonna be capable of doing. And then number two, I wouldn't do it just because I ain't gonna do it. It's men that have to work all in the sewage, and I ain't doing that. But y'all definitely not trying to make inroads into those industries. I see feminists are not trying to make it be equal for them to jump down in the sewage and trudge through, you know what I'm saying, feces and waste. Y'all not trying to do that job. Y'all not trying to drudge through garbage and all that kind of stuff. Y'all not trying to make that equal. Y'all not trying to find various different ways. Oh, it's a disparity in women. It's a disparity for women in those fields. Why y'all not trying to make women be more in the fields? Because you're not going to do that work, but y'all study talking about, oh, it's more male CEOs and we trying to make more female CEOs because you think that's an easy job, because you think it's easy to do that. It's glamorous and it give you money and you can sit somewhere and try to be cute while you a CEO. Girl, if y'all don't get out of folks' face with this foolishness, he's absolutely right. Y'all don't be caring about none of this stuff, because y'all don't even talk about it. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.